If you're struggling to decide between a long iron, a utility or a hybrid, that's exactly what we're going to talk about in this video today on the Everyday Golfer. We've got an everyday golfer who's trying to make that decision. He has bought some hybrids, he has got some long irons, he's got some forgiving long irons, but he's also considering a utility. So we've got some numbers with these clubs. We're going to show you where the benefits are, why you might change and when you might change. Let's get into it. So you will notice by the bag and the man of the head covers is Dave Harrison. So Dave, let's talk about what you're trying to do here. So you've got a long iron, you've got your Tacoma 101Ts there, you have your 4 iron that you have used for a while, but you have invested in some 11 hybrids.
I have, yeah. Tried them out with you, decided to make a purchase for once in my life. Miss Harrison wasn't happy, but you know, she's not happy about lots of things.
Spent some money, and was that because of obviously how the golf club looks behind the golf ball? Was it a little bit more of confidence?
It was a confidence thing, and also I think I'm better off with hybrids in winter because I will get more carry with them, whereas in summer I'm getting more run with a 4 iron as opposed to the amount of run that I get with, say, a 4 hybrid.
Yeah, so you bought the hybrids more so for your winter season and your winter golf, because you do play a lot still through the winter at different courses, but you like to obviously get that little bit more height and you're not relying on getting a perfect strike with an iron.
Correct.
Right, so let's put this to the test, guys. We have done this, we have got the numbers to show you, again, the differences of this. But obviously this is a par 3 here at Waterfront. It's 175 yards, and it's a prime example of Dave where he would use his 4 iron. But when we get in numbers and think about it, we need to know how far the club is carrying, as well as the total. So a little bit of a pull there from Dave. Again, carry-wise, looks like it has got over the elusive pond.
I've tried my best to put it in.
Tried to put it in, so it's just over that mound there, which would be probably just around about pin high.
Yep.
Again, that was more you than the club, unfortunately.
It's always me, Chris.
But that's exactly what you're saying. Your confidence isn't great with those at the minute because we're into winter and you know you need a perfect strike.
Yeah, and I'm probably trying to hit it a bit too hard because I'm thinking I need to get some height with it.
Yeah, so you're trying to manipulate a little bit, where with this hybrid, you've obviously, if you've seen our recent golf ball video on the Srixon Ulti Softs, you'll see that Dave hit some fantastic shots with this hybrid. There we can see it's launched higher, and we can see, if you did see that Srixon video, that has actually jumped the bunker where he went in the bunker with the other one. So distance wise there, not a perfect strike, Dave, but you've got away with it.
Yeah, not a perfect strike, but it would have bounced and run up because it wasn't a perfect strike, so there'll have been a bit of topspin on it, I
and
guess.
That's what you've found a little bit more with the hybrid, you get that little bit more forgiveness, and that's where
all the weights at the back and all the usual stuff with hybrids, you know.
Yeah, and he's really enjoying those, so let's go and see where they are. So we can see Dave's hybrid there just jumped over the bunker, pitched before, jumped over, and would leave him a reasonable chip shot. Again, the 4 iron was a little bit of a pull.
I'm going to say it wasn't more me, I pulled it, that's not the club.
So we know a pull's going to go a little bit further, as we know, what you always expect. I think it was just over this mound, which it's just there. So again, relative to pin height, it is past the pin, and that's where it's interesting. Yeah, probably carried similar distances, but we know obviously that's going to run out, especially even more so with a pull. And that's what Dave certainly found on the golf course. Dave's going to give this a chip now onto the green, and then we're going to talk about some numbers. That's a pretty good chip there from Dave. You take that from there, Dave, that'll give you a chance. So guys, if we talk numbers, we're going to talk the 4 iron first. So we can see on average it's carrying 148 yards, running out to 174 roughly, with a peak height of 37.1 feet. So you'll see on there any kind of missed strikes have come out a little bit lower, but on average we're starting to see 37.1 feet. If we now switch over to the hybrid, very interesting here, we lose around about 4 yards of carry, so 144.3 yards carry, and we lose just under 10 yards total. So again, landing soft and not running out. A peak height of 47.8, so again round about 10 feet higher. So certainly showing how the landing angle there that Dave's talking about, we're getting a little bit more control on that landing angle. It's not running out as far, but obviously into the summer that can help out, but Dave's obviously wanting to maximise his distance. If he's going into a long par 4, a long par 5, the 4 iron might run out a little bit more. If it's into a par 3, sometimes the hybrid might be a little bit better. So it's getting that mix and knowing your golf course of which one you want to put in. Think about the holes on your golf course, think about what you're trying to take advantage of and which ones you struggle with, and then you need to put whichever one you think that's right for you in your bag. So Dave's going to come in back on the golf course with his hybrid. So this is interesting where a utility might be the perfect mix for Dave. It might be the perfect hybrid of an iron and a hybrid that gets him a little bit more launch, but still gets him that carry and getting out there a little bit further. So first up, his hybrid. Let's see the flight.
Ooh, bit off balance, but nice shot.
A little bit off balance, a good strike, a nice high fade there. So certainly what you'd expect from a hybrid, Dave. Let's switch over to your 4-iron now.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about in winter, Chris. With, you know, I'm just getting that bit more. I think I'm getting a bit more high, or it feels like it. Maybe it's just a confidence thing. I don't know.
Yeah, so looking down at the club, he may look a little bit more confident with that club. Again, we've got some utilities in there that Dave has tested previously that certainly worked well from different lies for Dave. Certainly got him a better ball flight than maybe that iron. But in the summer, Dave's been really confident with his Tacoma 101 tees and he's been really happy with those. But it's always good to have options. You'll notice all of these brands that Dave are using are more affordable brands. Again, performing well, performing for Dave to still shoot good scores and enjoy his golf. Don't have to burn a hole in his pockets. As a Yorkshireman, we know Dave doesn't like.
See, that were decent as well.
And that's
been more than happy with that.
A little bit left, a little bit fade in. So that was a very similar fly, but half the height, you would say, Dave.
Yeah, we're a bit lower.
So it'd be very interesting to get down there and see if we saw exactly what we saw from the numbers, which that it went a little bit further with the run. Even in these wet conditions, that flight should run it out a little bit more. Let's get down there.
Panic over, Chris. We haven't lost the tee.
Oh, fantastic. I'll get that run on from the other week. You can see Dave's up at his 4-iron there, so a little bit further into the upslope here. And we've got middle of the fairway, so you know, we know he was at more central, was the hybrid. We can see that again, this time of the year, it's obviously dropped and stopped, a little bit of mud on there. We know a little bit lower with the 4-iron has got us out there, so very interesting there for Dave.
I think that proves what we were saying though, Chris. You know, I'm getting a higher launch with the hybrid, which I prefer in winter, but it's pick and place, you get to clean it. That in the summer is going to have gone probably another 10 yards maybe roll.
Yeah, 10, 20 yards.
So, and I don't think you're going to get that as much roll with the hybrid, although I do have more confidence over them, which is why it's probably better for me in the winter.
Yeah. So it's knowing your golf course, it's knowing obviously what kind of shots and where you use these clubs. We're going to hit one more into this hole, see if Dave can actually try and manipulate this 4-iron a little bit and get a higher flight. Not so sure.
Manipulate?
Well, exactly.
Lucky to hit it.
Right, so Dave's going to come in with his 4-iron first. So we're out here at 170 yards. So like we know, Dave should carry this onto the green, so the front of the green, and when Dave hit obviously some good ones of these on the simulator, we saw that it did obviously carry over 150, so that should land us on the green. Can he get the height? Certainly got a little bit more height, a little bit left.
Hit the medic, Chris.
Into another bunker, but that would have been a good distance-wise,
Yeah,
Dave.
if
And
I
it
could,
did launch
if
a
I
little
could
bit,
aim, I'd be half decent, you know.
and it launched a little bit higher, yeah?
Yep, it did.
Which is very interesting that he was able to do that. So let's get your hybrid. Let's see obviously how that compares to that. It is in there with the head covers. Look at that. He's even used his brolly holder to hold his head cover.
Well, it was raining earlier. I was expecting to have to use my brolly, but
this
you know,
man doesn't mess about.
we got away. We got away with it.
Right, in with the 4 hybrid now. So again, let's see. We still think this will launch a little bit higher than that 4-iron, but it shows that if Dave does try and get a little bit higher, he can. It was a good strike. If Dave could just get his feet sorted, there we go.
Like that.
We might get it on the right line.
No, we'd be
Although
same,
no,
exactly
you'll
same
prove a
line,
point
Chris.
and close it down and hit it left.
Yeah,
So again, carried less, Dave. Wasn't your best strike, but
it was an awful strike.
again, if we was having 10 shots from here, Dave, you would back yourself with your hybrid to get that on more.
Oh, definitely, definitely. Even
Then-
Scottish Paul would back me there.
Even Scottish Paul would back him. But yeah, so he'd be more confident with that. Once Dave obviously works through the winter and gets back into the season, we're probably going to start to see that 4-iron a little bit more, or we might even see a utility iron go in there that offers him a little bit of both.
We might do, but that'd mean buying something else. She'll
Yeah,
go
but
mad. She will go balmy.
Christmas is coming up, Dave.
That's a good call.
So we'll see Dave over the winter improve, and Mrs. Harrison can get on the internet.